The Federal Reserve announcing a massive 5.9% increase in benefits, the largest in decades. In our latest story on Newsmax.com called the Social Security Increase Accelerated Insolvency Timeline, a bipartisan group of experts say this could lead to Social Security Trust Fund running out of money in 10 years, a year ahead of previous estimates. I want to bring in the man who needs no introduction, Chief and Chairman at Forbes Media, Steve Forbes. Steve, always good to see you, my friend. Look, if I didn't know any better, you would think that the Biden administration was attempting to bankrupt America at a time when inflation is run amok, at a time when we are printing money like the paper is going out of style. How in the world do they think that they are going to actually start increasing the benefits and not have a deteriorating impact on the solvency of the one entitlement that so many Americans work their whole lives to depend on?
Well, that's the key thing, and that gets to the utter financial stupidity of that big bill Biden is still trying to get through Congress, where they play with the top line but want to keep those programs in. They want to start 4 new major entitlements, yet you have Social Security and Medicare, both of them in financial trouble. So why don't you take care of those first before adding new ones that are going to make the budget even worse in the future? And in terms of Social Security and the inflation, the administration is now going to turn to that age-old ugly reaction, and that is scapegoating. They're going to scapegoat. They're already going after the oil and energy industry. They're going to go after food suppliers. They're going to go after merchants, saying you're greedy. Why aren't you doing your supply chains better? They're going to point fingers everywhere except the real culprit, themselves and the Federal Reserve.
Absolutely. When you sit here and look at what's happening here, a proposed $3.5 trillion in spending. We already had $6 trillion on COVID relief that had very little to do with COVID. Still had about $1 trillion of the $6 trillion plus the 1.5 that we haven't even spent yet. How do we get to the point right now where the people in charge of economic policy for this nation thinks that they can suspend the laws of finance in order to justify these partisan power grabs that in many ways undermine the buying power of the everyday American on Main Street?
Well, you hit the nail on the head when you say they're in an alternative universe, but they also believe that this is about power ultimately. They have very nice rhetoric out there, but it's about control. It's about making people dependent on the government so they can stay in power forever. And you don't have to have socialism in the sense of taking over something. You just make every business dependent on your goodwill in Washington with these massive new regulations coming across individuals. They're now going to look at your bank account, $600. They're going to be examining your bank accounts. Well, that's intimidation. And what you saw with Southwest Airlines, why didn't they say the truth about pilots? Because they are dependent on grants from the government during COVID to stay alive. So they have to be careful what they say. So we have a society today, more and more, which never would have been considered possible, where you have to look over your shoulder before you say something.
Well, it's crazy. I mean, you talk about that $600 transaction threshold where they're trying to have the IRS snooping through your bank accounts. I'm glad you bring it up because, Steve, I mean, you've got a few extra shekels in the bank. You guys over at Forbes just had the Forbes 400 that just came out. I think if you ran a poll, most people on the Forbes list are not breaking out their debit card to make purchases at the bank or at the mall. Most of those transactions that are made in that manner are made by everyday Americans. How is it that we have jumped the shark, gone from having basically having to get a warrant to go through people's bank accounts to having the President of the United States stand up and say, we're going to go through everyone's bank accounts and not have people realize that's actually an attack on everyday Americans?
It is. It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment, where you're supposed to have a warrant before searching somebody's property. And on this, and that's why, and this preposterous Janet Yellen with a straight face said, we need to have that $600 threshold to make sure the rich pay their fair share. Well, as you know, people with real means, like those on our Forbes 400 rich list, they have lawyers, they have accountants, they fight on the tax code. You're not going to get much more out of them. What they're going after is middle-income Americans, small businesses, people who have cash businesses, waiters and waitresses who get tips. Those are the people they're really going after.
Absolutely. When you really look at it, it's those people that work in a cash-intensive environment. Those are the people who are going to have transactions going in and out of their account. We already know, statistically speaking, the overwhelming majority of people who are audited by the IRS are not the very wealthy. They're actually the middle class. And if you look on a county-by-county basis, the people that are subject to that the most are counties that have higher than normal percentages of minorities living there. How do we get people to understand and message effectively, particularly Republicans, that not only is this an assault on working class Americans, but this is actually a laser-like precision way to go after minorities just trying to make a living on a day-to-day basis?
By hammering home that point. Before COVID, for example, Latinos and African Americans were starting new businesses at record levels, far higher than before. They got slammed by the COVID crisis because they don't have easy access to bank credit. And we should hammer home that point, Republicans and conservatives and everybody, that this is a real assault on America's ability to provide a path upward for people. People start businesses. The immigrants have been doing it for years. Minorities are doing it now in America when they have the chance. That's what should be the focus. And when you have these massive regulations, who can cope with those massive regulations? Big businesses. Small businesses get crushed, and that's what the IRS counts on. That's why they're sicking the FBI on parents. Do parents want to get in the crosshairs of the FBI and the federal prosecutors if they protest the curriculums in their local school districts? All of this is it's tyranny. And we've got to say that word, tyranny. They're after you, the individual. Big companies, they know how to protect themselves. But smaller businesses, individuals, they're the vulnerable ones, and that's who they're going after. Tell them the truth.
Absolutely. Before we lose you here, Steve, again, how does this all end? We see that the power of the dollar is in decline. We see the power of those direct payments going to people on Social Security. They're buying less and less. Pork is going up, beef is going up, chicken is going up, $400 million a day being spent extra on gas versus a year ago. How do we get people to understand that the Biden misery index is real and it's going to actually have a disastrous impact on their life moving forward?
Well, if they keep going with these policies, people are going to find prices are going to be going up faster and already going up faster than their wages. And we have to point out, it's their bad spending bills, their bad policies that are bringing this about. So we got to stop more of the bad and start undoing some of the previous bad. The Fed is already sitting on $1.4 trillion of overnight money that they printed, then withdrew from the economy because they knew that would unleash another round of inflation next year. How long can they continue those gimmicks and games? So we have to hammer home. Your misery today, that's from Biden spending. That's from Biden attacking oil and gas and individual and middle-class Americans. If you want more of that kind of misery, and I think you're going to first see it, Joe, in the Virginia gubernatorial election next month. I think the Republicans are going to win that, in no small part because it's going to be a vote against what Biden and that administration is doing.
Absolutely. Audience sees it there on that screen. 40+% increase in gas, 10% nearly increase in meats, a 5.9% temporary giveaway increase in Social Security. That's not going to cut it. And all that does is make sure that the checks stop coming a lot sooner because the trust fund goes bankrupt.